Well, we're actually looking at two things. One is the polling shows us ahead, number one. Number two, we're also looking at the turnout. That is, who has a Democratic history and who has a Republican history. So we're looking at that. So we're using a couple of ways. The way I see it now, it's still what I call the traditional voting pattern, where the South Texas, for me will be blue, and then you got 3 counties that have been red, traditionally. So we feel very confident about this, but we're not stopping till we finish and win this race.
Describe this election campaign, this particular general election. Is it broken new ground for you? Have you seen anything like this before?
I've never seen anything like this. The National Republican, Kevin McCarthy, and all those folks have been, first of all, they've been spending millions of dollars on the 34th, on the 15th, and on the 28th itself. They're spending money, they're basing it on a narrative that Hispanics are now going Republican. I don't think that's the case. I mean, do we have a monolithic Hispanic community? Of course we don't. There's some that are going to vote Democrat and Republicans and independents, but I think at the end of the day, you're going to see South Texas still vote blue. A lot of people point to what happened with Donald Trump. Yes, he was a force in nature without a doubt, but there was no political realignment in the sense that I won my South Texas counties and other people won the South Texas counties itself. So what we're looking at is this nasty race, personal attacks, where in the old days this is somebody's ideas, this is somebody's ideas. Now what they're doing is they're doing the most vicious negative attacks, thinking that people are not smart here, thinking that if you put a fake Hispanic on accent on this ads that they're running, thinking that they think everybody speaks down here in South Texas with a Hispanic accent. It is incredible. It is a vicious personal attack that they're attacking on all 3 of us. But at the end of the day, even with the millions of dollars, we're going to win this race.
So you don't feel those negative ads are going to have an impact?
Well, of course, they do have some impact, but the good thing is that people know the work that I've done. They know that I've been around. I have a brand. If they notice, they haven't attacked me on oil and gas because I've been very strong in oil and gas. They haven't attacked me on border security because I've been very strong in border security. So what they're doing is just the vicious personal attacks, and that shows you, the thinking that these people in Washington have. They just don't understand South Texas, and they think by just negative personal attacks and putting this fake Hispanic accents because they think that everybody speaks with an accent down here, they're going to be shown on election day.
Do you think, though, that those negative ads could perhaps have the impact of suppressing the vote? The turnout could be lower because people are saying, I don't know who to believe.
Well, certainly, we know what studies have shown about negative ads, and I'm sure that's what they're attempting on that. But I think at the end of the day, we have a turnout model that we've been working on. We're going to win this race itself. We got the polling on our side. We see the turnout right now. We're going to keep working all the way to 7 o'clock. And I think they underestimated the people of South Texas. They think that we don't know. People in South Texas are smart, and they know that personal vicious attack is just, that's what it is, and it's going to backfire on them.
So as you've been going door to door, knocking on doors, talking, having town hall meetings, what are the top 3 or 4 issues that you're hearing from voters?
Well, certainly, they want to make sure that prices go down, and this is why I've been pushing on oil and gas. And if you see some of the very interesting things that are happening, our employment is low. Jobs, we've been creating jobs. Oil and gas, we've been talking about making sure that we drill more. And it's interesting, some of the things that people talk about are not have been taken for granted. Actually, this last 2 years, there's been more permits, more drilling than the last 2 years of the prior administration. The other thing is that the monies that they're going for the currency, and they're not going for the barrels. I emphasize the monies that they're making are going for the currency profits, currency instead of barrels. So I say this, and I support the oil and gas industry, but I want to see the drilling. I want to see the jobs. I got 40,000 jobs over here, and of course on oil and gas. I mean on the border, people know how strong I've been on border security, Stone Garden, the monies that we've gotten here, the monies that we got for Border Patrol, and once I become the chairman, they're going to see there's going to be no stronger friend for homeland security than myself.
Going back to energy, that statistic you just read out about the fact that there's more activity now than in the previous administration, you would never have known that from all the advertising.
Yeah, I know they make it sound like there's no drilling, but you know the facts are there. There is more drilling, more permits that have been allowed under this last 2 years than the last 2 years of the prior administration. If you look at the jobs, of course, more jobs have been created under this administration. And we know, look, you know, the lower the prices of gasoline is, the better it is to lower prices. You know, the traveling or the transportation supplies will go down. Fertilizer for food will go down, and that's why I want to make sure that we continue having more investment. So I'm asking the friends in the oil and gas industry, I know currency is important, but put it back in barrels, put it back in investment so we can create more jobs and certainly have more production.
Many people are very disappointed you no longer represent Hidalgo County because of redistricting. Yeah,
and it's sad. Let me say, you know, I wanted more of Hidalgo County. I really wanted to go back to the way it was, where I had like 1/3 of McAllen and then all the way up here. But you know, the state legislature, they had something in plan where they were going after the 15th, so they took out all of Hidalgo. And I've told some of the folks, I talked to the county judge today, I told other folks, look, I might be just one county away, but you can count me. I'm the only Democrat in appropriations, and I've been written letters. I know the Ansalduas, I got invited to be there. I couldn't be there, but I was there from the very beginning. From the very beginning in Anzaldúa, making sure that we get commercial traffic, and it's happening after so many years.
The reason I mention that is I know you can't speak for Hidalgo County in this race. You're not following it as closely as your own, but having spoken to the county judge, what are you hearing about Hidalgo County and the rest of the valley?
Well, I think you need to talk to him, but for what I've been hearing is it looks like it's also traditional Democratic patterns. It's what we're seeing right now. So that tells us that the millions of dollars of negative access, you know, that's what they're using of advertising, is not working.
Mm-hmm. And so, but maybe turn out a bit lower than you would like?
You know, well, we're comparing this not to a presidential year, but to the 2018. Yes, we certainly want to see that, but it's something that's happening all across the state of Texas. It's not only on the border counties, but it's all over the Texas. I was talking to somebody in Houston. They were telling me the same thing. Now, San Antonio seems to be doing pretty well there. So, you know, we got a good operation. We're working there with the Tejano Democrats, with the Bexar County folks. You know, we got folks that are trying to turn this out. I got a robocall from President Barack Obama. I got a robocall from President Clinton. So we're trying to make sure that we get the vote out.
Is there anything else you'd like to add, Henry? Thank you so much for today's interview.
Judge?